Cracking the World from 1965 was a movie that I'd never heard of before, and I was pleased to find out it was a disaster movie. You know, destruction of the world on a grandiose scale. I love those kind of movies, and I was really curious how this would get to the obvious cracking the world that we're going to get to at some point, obviously. So you get a Dr. Stevenson who is running this outfit, this special test to try and harness the power of the Earth's core. By drilling into it and getting the magma out, he can get access to all kinds of already liquefied metals, as well as a power source somewhere or something to help the world just run with this boundless energy that's going to come with it. Now, he has his wife Maggie, who is a lot younger than him and really idolises him, as well as trusts that he is the future of humanity. And we have this co-worker, Ted Rampane, who is the protege of Dr. Stevenson, but also disagrees with him on this topic. Stevenson thinks the best thing to do is to stick a thermonuclear warhead down there to blow open the Earth's crusts. But Rampane thinks that this is going to just shatter it like a pane of glass, shatter that crust and cause a huge fissure across the Earth as this crack appears. And that's one part of this movie, because the movie has other things going for it, and it's a great, as a destruction disaster piece, a classic Doomsday movie. It excels by creating this larger than life event, showing some good special effects of the time. You get sort of typical tropes, but this was before most of the disaster movies came. It's a little bit of a precursor to it, and it creates some really terrifying effects, as well as the weight of the decisions onto the scientists. You know, what they have done has caused deaths, thousands of deaths, and that weighs heavily on the people in the movie. But one of the other aspects of this movie that I really loved was the love triangle. They deal with a love triangle between Ted, Dr. Stevenson and Maggie, and how these two men are, you know, one is at the top of his game, he's well respected. The other one is an up and coming scientist who has the ability to step into this person's shoes. They have a friendship, a mentor relationship, but also they're a little bit antagonistic to each other, because he's not a sycophant, Ted. He's willing to argue with Dr. Stevenson if it comes to that. And he also feels that he's been manipulated, because he was with Maggie at one point, as we get through some subtle lines that are slipped into the script, and was sent away for, you know, career benefits, but also to allow Dr. Stevenson to slide in there and make Maggie his wife, stealing him away from Ted. And you get these kind of power dynamics, and they don't really play out as you would expect them to. You know, when somebody makes a huge mistake and is wrong, they put their hands up and then they try to fix it. They don't have that kind of "I told you so" moment. It's just a case of, well, I was right, that's unfortunate, how are we going to fix it? And that was one of the things that I also really enjoyed, the sort of pragmatism of the situation and the working together to deal with it. And the movie keeps going really quickly. It allows you a little bit of time to set up the scenario, to set up the characters, to let you get an opinion of them, and then it shifts ever so slightly and kind of skews that opinion of these characters, making it a little bit more three-dimensional, a little bit more interesting, and some good dynamics between the core group of people. And then disaster hits, and that's when things at first seem as if they're okay, and then slowly descend into an earth-shattering event that could cause the destruction of humanity as we know it. And there's so many good effects in this as well. We get some good model work of the sort of rocket drill that's going to do that, the explosion of the magma. We get a good submarine sequence as they're going down under the water to discover what's causing these earthquakes. You get some really interesting ideas, which is probably due to budget, of them explaining some of the destruction around the world through news broadcasts, which are really well kind of done. Some of them are a little bit on the nose, where they mention a place and then you'll hear a radio beat in the background as they start to explain what's happened here. But it's fun. It's exceptionally well done. I thought it looked terrific. The characters, I liked them all. I liked the way they kind of went through the movie, their arcs, and all three of the main characters have good arcs. They all change in various ways. Loved the storyline. Thought it was inventive. In this world where we've had lots of movies that are just all about world destruction, I'm surprised nobody's really went back to this one. Yeah, still got this one. It's great. I think it's a lot of fun. If you haven't seen it, Cracking the World, I'd say definitely search it out. coming out on a new Blu-ray from 101 Films, and it is a fantastic transfer. It's got an audio commentary from two film historians, and as a movie I'd never heard of, loved it. Absolutely adored this one. Great film to check out. Not just a disaster movie, a little bit more with it as well, with some good character work, which was fantastic in my eyes. I hope you check this one out. If you've all seen it already, let me know in the comment box below your thoughts on Cracking the World, and I'll see you next time on Man vs. Film.